Well, we tasted the Premier Grand Crus Classes at St-Emilion 2005 vintage and 82, which is 25 years apart. And it's a generation apart, but in fact it's an era apart, because in 82 Bordeaux wasn't as prosperous as it is today. People were making wines in a sort of old-fashioned way. They were making wines in the way that they'd made them for 10, 15, 20 years previously. The yields were much bigger. There were very few second wines, and 82 was actually the first good stroke great vintage that they'd had since 1970. And so the sun shone, they had all these wonderful ripe grapes, and so they picked every single one, and they were making yields of 60, 70, 80 hectares a hectare, and the wines were damn good. And they had a reputation at the time. And 85 coming afterwards, people compared it to 82 and said not quite as good as 82. But what we've seen today is the 82s haven't really lasted the course. That several of them are really quite tired, and the ones that are still tasting well haven't got too long to go. So fast forward to 2005, where Bordeaux is an investment machine, and everyone in the Premier Grands Crus Classes League is investing a lot of money to make the best wine possible. You can say that certain chateaus are possibly exaggerating with the amount of new oak, or exaggerating with the cutting the yields, and so on and so forth. But in my view, echoed by my colleagues, the quality overall of 2005 was really very, very, very high indeed. The colours were very deep, the extraction was high, the oak was high, but only one wine had rawness from the oak, and we agreed our notes were 17, 18, and basically it was an exceptionally good vintage, wonderful fruit. And we were asked the question, would these wines last the 25 years or 20 years that the 82s haven't? Undoubtedly. But also because they're made in a fresher, modern style, and one of us used modern in a kind of a derogatory sense, which I don't agree with at all. I think the modernness of St-Emilion is an extremely positive thing. And these wines will be able to be drunk and enjoyed in 2005 and within the decade that they're made, but they'll go on for 15, 20 years more. To me it was, and I think for my colleagues, it was a very encouraging tasting, and certainly showed the progress in Bordeaux between then and now.